Here is something most people get wrong from the very first moment they pick up a tiny tree in a pot. Bonsai is not a plant. Bonsai is a practice, and just like any other practice, whether it is music, painting, martial arts, or cooking, it has levels. There is the person who just walked out of a garden centre with their very first little juniper, and then there is the craftsman who has been shaping the same tree for 30 years. Today, we are walking through all 7 of those levels together. Somewhere along the way, you're going to spot yourself in this story. You will see exactly where you're standing right now, and you will see what stands between you and the next step, where it all began, and the first 2 levels. Before we climb any ladder, let us talk about where this whole thing actually comes from. Bonsai started in China more than 1,000 years ago, and back then it was called Penjing, which simply meant the art of creating tiny landscapes in shallow trays. The Japanese took that idea, refined it, gave it structure, and turned it into the practice we now recognize around the world. The word bonsai itself just means planted in a tray. That is it. No mystery, no magic, and here is the part that surprises almost everyone new to this. The little tree in that pot is not some special miniature species, it is a regular full-sized tree. A bonsai juniper is genetically identical to the giant juniper you might see growing wild on a hillside. The only difference is the hands that shaped it, the pruning that controlled it, and the small pot that limited its roots. So the barrier to getting into bonsai is far lower than most people imagine. If this channel is new to you, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you do not miss what comes next. Now let us talk about level 1, the curious beginner. This is where every single person starts. You walk past a shelf in a garden centre, you see this tiny tree sitting there looking ancient and graceful, and something just clicks. You feel pulled toward it. You cannot really explain why, you just know you want to take it home, so you buy it. At this stage you have a heart full of enthusiasm and a head with almost zero information. You water it when you remember, which usually means too much or too little. You place it wherever it looks nice in your living room, often somewhere far from a window, which for most outdoor bonsai is basically a death sentence. You do not yet know that some species belong outside all year round, while others need warm indoor conditions. So the saddest but most common level 1 story is this. The tree dies within 6 months. Not because you did not care, but because you cared without knowing how. What separates level 1 from level 2 is not skill, it is information. Level 2 is the student. This level begins the moment you decide you want to understand the tree instead of just reacting to it. Maybe it begins after your first tree dies, maybe it begins before. Either way, something shifts. You start reading, you start watching, you figure out what species you actually have. You learn that junipers, maples, elms and pines need to live outside year-round and require a real winter rest. You learn that Ficus, Jade and Carmona prefer steady warmth and bright light that most windowsills cannot quite deliver. Suddenly, you understand why that first little tree gave up on you. You also learn how to water properly, not by following a calendar, but by lifting the pot to feel its weight or pressing a finger into the soil. And speaking of soil, you discover that bonsai soil is almost nothing like garden soil. It is mostly inorganic, designed to drain within seconds while holding just enough moisture for the roots. You repot your tree correctly for the first time. It survives its first winter. That feels like a quiet, real victory. And it is. But here is the catch. You are keeping the tree alive. You are not yet shaping it into anything. The middle path where art begins to take hold, level 3, is the pruner. This is where things start to get interesting, and honestly, this is where a lot of people happily settle in for years. You have a healthy tree, and now you finally ask the question that defines this whole craft. What should this tree become? You learn structural pruning to set the main branches. You learn maintenance pruning to keep the silhouette tight. You start spotting branches that cross each other, branches that grow downward and branches that throw the whole design off balance. You learn to walk around the tree, study it from every angle, and breathe before making any cut, because every single cut is permanent. A branch you remove today might take 5 or 10 years to grow back. And of course, you make mistakes. You cut off a branch you later wish you had kept. You prune too aggressively and leave the tree looking thin. You snip at the wrong time of year and stress your tree just when it needed peace. These mistakes are not failures. They are how your eye gets built. Eventually, you start seeing the result of a cut before your scissors even touch the branch. This is also where you meet wire for the first time. Those coils of aluminium or copper you wrap around branches to gently guide them into new positions. And yes, you will probably leave wire on too long, and it will bite into the bark. We all do it once. At level 3, you are no longer passive. You are having a conversation with the tree. But the tree is still mostly leading that conversation. Level 4 is the designer. This is the level where bonsai stops being just gardening and starts becoming something closer to sculpture. You no longer ask only what the tree needs. You begin asking what the tree could express. You develop an eye for the nebari, those surface roots flaring out at the base of the trunk. A strong nebari is one of the clearest signs of a quality bonsai. You choose the front of the tree, the angle from which the trunk movement, the branches and the roots all come together most beautifully. You start learning the classical styles like formal upright, informal upright, slanting, cascade, semi-cascade, and forest planting. But you learn them not as strict rules to obey. You learn them as descriptions of how trees actually grow in nature. The greatest bonsai never look designed. They look discovered. At this level, you also start working with deadwood. Jin is deadwood made from a stripped, bleached branch. Shari is deadwood carved into the trunk itself. Deadwood whispers age, struggle, and survival. It is one of the strongest storytelling tools in the entire craft, and also one of the trickiest to pull off without ruining the whole composition. By now, you are also moving past pre-trained trees from shops. You start collecting nursery stock. You grow from seed or cutting, and where it is allowed, you might even gather wild specimens. You're no longer just buying a finished idea. You're building one from scratch. Mastery, exhibition, and the quiet heights of the practice. Level 5 is the Craftsman. This is the level where techniques that most people never even attempt finally become part of your toolbox. You learn grafting. Thread grafting means growing a new branch right through a small channel drilled in the trunk so you can place growth exactly where the design needs it. Approach grafting means raising a young plant beside your tree until the two literally fuse together. Both techniques demand precision, clean timing, and patience measured in years. You also pick up carving tools, dremels, and die grinders, and you use them to hollow out trunks and shape deadwood with weathered texture. The carving tells a story you have chosen for the tree. Maybe this one survived a lightning strike. Maybe this one was bent by coastal wind for decades. Maybe this one pushed its way up through solid rock. You grow material from seed with the final design already pictured in your mind from year one. The patience this takes is not passive waiting. It is active vision, year after year. At this level, you have a real collection. Many trees at different stages, each needing different attention each season. You keep records, you build calendars around individual growth rhythms, and you start thinking like a steward. Level 6 is the collector and the teacher. Here, your practice grows beyond your own backyard. You begin exhibiting your trees from small local club shows to international displays. Exhibiting is not just about the tree. It is the pot, the stand, the accent plant, and even the empty space around the composition. Every element has to speak together as one quiet sentence. You also start teaching. Sharing what you know forces a clarity that private practice never demands. Explaining why a certain cut belongs at a certain angle in a certain season on a certain species requires words for things you used to feel by instinct. You begin collecting antique pots and trees with real history, trees that have passed through generations of growers. The hands that came before become part of the tree itself. And somewhere along the way, you start truly feeling the philosophical heart of bonsai, the Japanese idea of Wabi-Sabi. The beauty of imperfection, impermanence, and incompleteness stops being a foreign concept. It becomes the daily reality of working with something that will never be finished and will likely outlive you. Level 7 is the Living Master. This level cannot be taught. It can only be recognized. A Living Master has spent decades in unbroken practice. Their bond with a single tree might stretch longer than most people's entire careers. At this level, the line between the craftsman and the art has quietly dissolved. The master does not push a design onto the tree. They find what the tree is trying to become, and they gently remove everything in the way. A cut that takes 1 second to make may have been thought about for a full year. The trees of a living master are not beautiful the way a polished object is beautiful. They are beautiful the way old stones, old houses, and old faces are beautiful. Beauty that comes from time itself. At any given moment, there are perhaps only a few dozen masters at this level in the entire world. Their trees are measured in centuries. Some of the most important specimens alive today were first shaped by hands that turned to dust hundreds of years ago, and they are still being refined right now by the people who inherited them. The master knows the one truth every other level is still chasing. Bonsai is never finished. The work continues long after the hands holding the scissors are gone. And for those who reach this level, that is not a sad thought at all. That is the entire point. So where does this leave you? Most people watching this video are sitting somewhere between level 1 and level 3. And if you have never owned a bonsai before, you are standing at the very start of level 1 right now, whether you realize it or not. The most important thing to remember when starting is simple. Species matters more than anything else in your first year. An outdoor tree kept inside will die, no matter how perfectly you do everything else. The 3 friendliest first trees for beginners in temperate climates are the Japanese maple, beautiful and forgiving with stunning autumn color, the Chinese elm, tough, semi-evergreen, and one of the most adaptable trees you can grow, and the juniper, the classic hardy choice that responds beautifully to early shaping and wire. All 3 live outside, all 3 need sun, and all 3 need that fast-draining bonsai soil and daily summer watering by feel rather than by clock. Bonsai is not a hobby for people in a hurry, but it is one of the rare creative practices where the work you do today may still be quietly growing and improving long after you are gone. If you are at level 1 or 2 right now and you want some real help, drop your species and your situation down in the comments. I read every single one and I will help you figure out exactly what your tree needs. And if this video helped you in any way, do me a small favor and subscribe. Every week we cover a brand new plant topic in exactly this format, and the library keeps growing. Whatever level you're at, there is something here waiting for you.